WTF Nation Radio.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
I don't know shit about fuck.
Oh, here we go. What's going on, everybody? There we go. Got to get that level down a little bit so I can talk to you. Welcome, everybody, to Friday Night Freedom. My name is KOZ, broadcasting deep inside Satan's nether regions. It's hotter than hell out here. But I guess we're gonna be okay because I got my wingman here, Pooky, with me. What's going on, brother?
Oh, same old. I got caught up in the comments, sorry.
Oh, yeah, everyone kind of, all the comments just start firing off, and I want to reply to everybody, but I can't. So I do what I can.
We are definitely not talking about mold tonight. I know Ice went into a hardcore rant about that last night, and
I caught probably a minute of the show, and I just had so much stuff going on. I was unable to pay attention to any of it. Did he do a good job?
He was eviscerating motherfuckers. That's all.
Which is awesome.
The Ice rants are epic.
He gets really excited, especially when he's drinking the Cafe Bustelo. But he doesn't rant very much. He doesn't rant. He'll knife hand and speak. But he doesn't do that. But he'll speak like a sergeant major does. He's not yelling. Mm-hmm. He's just kind of stating facts. But you said he ranted last night.
No, that's an Ice rant. Oh, I mean, he's just da. Get off my grass.
Yeah, it's like a cascading point and a point and a point followed by a point and then the big point. And yeah, Shane, he is awesome about it. All right, thank you everybody for hanging out with us here on Friday. I was almost late. Because of I'm blaming. Why is that? Okay, I am a very symmetrical person, and I've got 4 monitors here, right? So okay, I'm getting way off track already. So has anybody enjoyed the Prime sales that are going on like right now?
Oh yes, me, very much so.
So I did the first thing I bought was my air conditioner started kind of, I don't know if it's flaking out and it needs a charge or it's just too damn hot and my air conditioner can't keep up. I mean, the other day it was I was in a parking garage at a mall and it was 110 degrees. I turned my car on and it said 110. And it was probably, I think it was like 107 or 108. But it was 110, I guess, on the pavement and whatever. I was in a parking garage, like no sun. So anyway, I went to AutoZone to get an adapter. I got home and I'm like, I've got gauges here. So I went to go hook them up and they wouldn't fit. I was like, crap, what the hell's going on? Then I looked up the specs on my car, and they're like, if your R134 gauges don't fit, that must mean that you've got this other kind of Freon, which is R1234YR or some shit like that. So I looked it up, and it's just like this kinder, gentler, more environmentally friendly Freon.
Make R12 great again.
So I'm like, okay, crap. I guess I'll need an adapter, or I'll need just a new set of gauges. So I went to AutoZone. They didn't have anything. They didn't have any gauges. They had plenty of cans of Freon. I'll get to that in a second. But, you know, I didn't know if I needed Freon, so I wasn't going to buy it. Back in the day, you could buy Freon for cheap, 134. Yeah. I've got probably 4 cans of 134 just because they came in like a 4-pack or a 6-pack. So I bought it. You know, I bought a lot of it because I was just like, meh. You never know when you might need some. Everything uses 134. You know, not your house, but, you know, car-wise. So I tried to hook my gauges up. They didn't fit. I had to go and buy a new gauge set. AutoZone didn't have it. They said, hey, our other store has it. So I went to that other store. They didn't have it. Their computer system said that they had them, but they didn't. I wasn't going to go and buy just a can of Freon that has a gauge on it because this 1234YX or YR, whatever this new Freon is, it's $130 a pound. So if I do need a charge, it's going to cost me, you know, I'm going to buy a can of Freon and it's going to be $130. It was probably $60 or so, or $70 for one of them short stubby cans.
Just yak some propane in it, you'll be all right.
Propane? You know, I thought about that. I'm like, how bad would that be to fill your AC system with propane? Ba-boom! So that was my first Amazon purchase, and it showed up. I haven't had time to put the gauge on my AC. I've got all weekend to do that. So one thing that I was looking for is monitors. When I got this new computer system, I bought 2 monitors. They're 27-inch monitors. They're 4K. They're beautiful. They're awesome. So I've got a monitor tree. So I've got room for 4 monitors. The other 2 monitors were two monitors that didn't match. They were 2 different sizes. One was a 24-inch. The other one was like not a 24-inch. I think it was actually a television set that I just ended up using as a monitor, and it was really grainy and didn't have really good resolution. So I bought 2 more of these 27-inch 4K monitors. They came in. So here's my first problem. I bought them because the delivery date on these monitors was Saturday, which is tomorrow. I'm going to be home all day tomorrow. I'll be home to get the delivery. You don't have to worry about any porch pirates, you know, stealing my stuff. I'm at work today, and my doorbell rings. My phone goes off. And it's the Amazon people dropping off my new monitors today. So normally people would be very, very happy getting something early, but when you order something, these monitors are, you know, $200 a pop, and they just, you know, sat on my porch all day when I'm at work, and I'm like having a hard time concentrating at work because I'm like, you know, I'm going back every time I walk by my phone. I'm pulling up my cameras, going, all right, monitors are still there. This is cool. So I got home, no problems. You know, the thing is that Amazon sent me a customer service email. It says, how did we do? Are you happy with your delivery? I'm like, how do I respond to that? So I said no. And then it wanted to know more information. And there was a whole litany of things like they sent it to the wrong address. It was late. It was damaged, or, you know, the video showed the delivery person not taking care of the package, you know, like throwing it. There wasn't really anything other than the item that says the driver didn't follow directions. And I'm like, that's not what happened. The driver delivered the package that they were told to deliver. They did a fantastic job. It was just a day early.
Just screwed up. Yeah,
it was a day early. Normally I wouldn't be upset, but that potentially was a bad thing. And I would have fought it tooth and nail had someone come and take it.
You got me worried.
So anyway,
I too have a monitor on the way. It says August 24th, and I'm like, okay, well, if it just shows up tomorrow, and I'm not waiting for it.
Yeah, I've never had a package stolen from me. I didn't want today to be the first day. I think I would have been pretty sad. I don't think I would have been out the money. I think they would have replaced it.
I hope so.
After they heard my explanation of the reason why I ordered it is because it was I could have gotten a Saturday delivery on it, which is what I wanted initially.
See, that's something Amazon should set up. Is like set up actual delivery dates and stuff like that. No.
Well, they do. When you buy it, it says here you can choose your delivery date, and it's like free Amazon Prime overnight. I've ordered stuff that showed up the same day before.
Well, that's what happened with my 3D printer. I ordered it, and I was expecting maybe a week max is what it told me, and it showed up the next day. It was less than 24-hour shipment at that point. I was like, holy crap, man.
Have you ever? Can you do drone delivery? I haven't done that. I haven't had an option to do it. I've got a lot of trees in my neighborhood. I don't think that would be a good thing.
I've never seen that pop up on my thing. So
I guess some municipalities have drone delivery, which is cool. I mean, it's a thing. It's coming. It's not as widespread as I'd like, but hey.
Shane Austin, yes, I was eyeballing. This is the thing I hate about Amazon Prime Day is I was eyeballing the newest, greatest version of my laptop. It was like, 20% off. I was like, ooh, and it had like all Thunderbolt ports on it instead of like HDMI ports and stuff like that. And
oh wow!
It was like, I was like, man, I buy that, I won't have to buy another laptop for about 8 years. And I was like, and I was getting drunk and I was about to order it.
Oh,
and stop myself.
Like, that's good. Just turn off. Just log off. Turn off.
It's like, no, I'm drunk right now. I don't need to order.
It's a good thing, major decisions are not. They feel like it's the right decision, but then you get up the next morning and you're like, son of a bitch. No, it wasn't. That wasn't a good thing.
It was a Predator, Shane. Sorry. Can't remember the actual name. I have a Helios, but the newer version, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's got like I think it's the one I was looking at had like a 2 terabyte solid state in it.
Oh, nice.
32 gigs of RAM, 3800 RTX.
That's a laptop?
Yeah, I was like, man, that's
3080 RTX?
Yeah. TI in it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh, well, that's 32 gigs of RAM, a decent graphics processor, decent amount of onboard memory. I mean, you're good at that point.
See, I got most of that, but this is a desktop. This is a tower. I don't know. It just seems the reason I don't like doing that to laptops is just you can't really expand. If I were to add, I can add. There's room to add stuff to this thing. I can if someone foreclosed on my house, I could use this tower as a second home. It's big. It's really big. Not really big. It's big.
Well,
I've seen bigger.
The next PC purchase that I'm going to get is going to be a desktop.
But anyway, so back to the story. I was almost late because I'm like, I got these 2 new monitors. I want to hook up these 2 new monitors because that's what you do when you get new monitors. So I took the old monitors off. I'm putting the new monitors on, and all of my monitors are 27 inch. So there was no room for my webcam. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta have the webcam where it was, or else things are gonna look wonky. I don't have time to fix it. I don't want to put my other monitors on there because once you go to a large monitor, it doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes or 5 years. You go back to a smaller monitor and you hate it. Immediately you hate it. Like I'm going to hate going back to work because I've got 24-inch monitors on my stations at work. And it's just not going to be as glorious and big as these 27 inchers.
I only have option for one monitor expansion because I am on a laptop. But I got a 32-inch curved display.
Very nice.
Perfect. Very right now I got the corner right here. So it's like flat against the corner. Now it's gonna curve with the corner, so it would be perfect.
I thought about I was considering getting 2 curves because for just not much more money, like maybe $30 or $40 extra per monitor, I could have gotten 2 curves. Oh, that would have been
for your main monitor. If you're staring at it all the time, that's a good, like for your display monitors and stuff like that. That flat's where it's at.
Yeah. So I'm happy with what I got. I'm gonna make it work. I got a little bit of rearranging to do, but hey, that's it. Hey, let me do some housekeeping real quick. Usually I save this for like guests and stuff, like things that we have coming up. Eventually we're going to be having shows 5-6 nights a week.
Close to it.
Mondays a Monday edition, Tuesdays Pop Culture Warrior, Wednesday's going to be the Smoke Pit with Radar. Thursdays, Sergeant's Time. Fridays, Friday Night Freedom. And then Sundays, the Sports Bar. I don't know when they're starting, though. One of those guys kicking off.
Actually, I don't know either. To tell you the truth.
I don't know. I haven't gotten any information. It's coming.
Co-host. I'm a bad co-host. It's an early 6.
Okay, we got the Sports Bar in the chat. When are you kicking off, brother?
Every day except Saturday. What?
Every day, yeah. Every day except Saturday.
Oh, okay.
But so in place of announcing guests and shows and stuff like that, I'm going to say that you probably saw it on the main page. You probably saw it on the post that we have on WTF Nation Radio on Facebook. The current national suicide prevention number is 1-800-273-8255. Beginning tomorrow, July 16th, the number is changing to 988. I'm reading the paper. I'm like, where's the rest of the number? That's it. I guess you just dial 988 and then send, and then that connects you to the suicide prevention hotline. 988 has been designated as the new 3-digit dialing code that will route all callers to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The current 800 number will always remain available to people in emotional distress or suicidal crisis, even after 988 is launched nationally, which is happening tomorrow. To learn more about the suicide prevention efforts, visit 988lifeline.com. There's a bunch of stuff on there. It's not just people sitting in a basement waiting for the phone to ring, talking you down from the ledge. That's kind of like the Barney style, what is the suicide prevention hotline? But they have Black mental health, Native American and Alaskan Natives, suicide attempt survivors, maternal mental health. They got all kinds of stuff for veterans, deaf, hearing, and hearing loss folks, loss survivors. They have Spanish counselors there and youth counselors as well, disaster survivors, LGBTQ stuff, and what individuals with neurodivergence. I don't know what neurodivergence is.
Autism.
Okay. I was thinking of that,
autism,
or bipolar, or
ADD, bipolar, kind of like just the whole spectrum of things at that point. Huh?
So cool. So the suicide prevention, the crisis line is going to be just 988. 988 send, and then you'll be in touch with someone who can help you.
It's that's a good step finally, towards mental health at least. Not enough though, but I mean, it's a step.
It's a step in the right direction. That's where it is. So Jay says technically it's a 900 number, so this is exciting.
Ooh.
But it doesn't cost you $8 a minute.
Man, why would you say that? Speaking of like 900, like say like the 911 and stuff like that. My grandfather was telling me when he moved down here back in, I think it was 84, this area did not have 911 yet.
Oh.
He said all the locals were talking about, we're going to get this new emergency phone call system. It's called 911. And my grandfather scratched his head. He's like, man, we've had that since like the 60s. up north, Yeah. So.
I don't know. I don't know if I remember growing up. I always knew 911 dial. We actually dialed 911 like with the rotary dial phone. Yeah, you stick your finger in there and then it goes around the. Yeah. I think I've always known about 911. Maybe not. I don't know. How about y'all? 911's always been a thing. The thing is now with cell phones and stuff, I think the conversation with the 911 operator is different. Normally from a landline, you'd call 911. It would go to the switchboard. Your address would pop up. They would know exactly where you are. But now everyone's got cell phones. I don't have a landline in my house. I haven't had a landline in years. Everyone's got cell phones now. So I think maybe It would be 911. Where the fuck are you? I don't know. What do they say?
A couple years back, I got my new phone. I still got the phone, but I got it and I accidentally hit the emergency, distress button. I don't know. I had to disable it because
the emergency call. Yeah.
So like I'm sitting, minding my own business, and I buttoned out it, and I'm just walking around the house, and I'm in the house all by myself, and also I started hearing this voice. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like talking, like I'm literally like talking to myself, just like, who am I hearing? And I all of a sudden heard 911. What's your emergency? And I picked it up. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I butt dialed you. I totally apologize. I got a new phone and it just dialed into you. I don't know what I did. And she's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to dial. So, boop, end of the conversation. About 5 minutes later, a sheriff deputy showed up.
Well, which is good. Which is a good thing. But the sheriff deputy got out of the car. I was like, hey, I'm sorry. This is me. I butt dialed. She was like, oh, okay. There's nothing. I was like, there's nothing going on here. I'm by myself. She's like, all right. Then she's like, okay, have a nice day, and rolled out. And then about 15 minutes later, like rolled back by around the house and kind of like, and then rolled off, making sure nothing was happening. But don't worry, I know I'm out here, but I turned off the meth stove. It's all right. It ain't gonna catch fire.
There, Stan Leaf has an explanation about how it works.
He says, here's how they explain it when you call 911 from your cell phone. The dispatcher does not see your actual location. Instead, dispatch centers have your wireless carrier for your location information. Oh, I get it. The location information comes from a cell tower, which could put you miles away from where you actually are. So they kind of, I guess they're about in this location.
Oh, they were pretty dang accurate with me when I dialed out there at that point. Not within miles, within feet.
What's up, James? James says, greetings, fellow hosts and listeners. Just checking in. Probably won't be here long. Got to work at 3:30 in the morning. Yeah, man. Those early mornings, it's not midnight shift. It's not. Is that considered the final shift of the day, or is that the first shift of the day?
I thought that was like graveyard.
I don't know, graveyard. I worked mids. That was midnight to. I worked from midnight to 7:30.
I don't know how that works.
7 hours of work for 8 hour pay because there was a shift differential. My daughter, she's a pastry chef, so she goes in at 3:30 or so in the morning. She gets home by like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She eats and she goes to bed.
Probably one of my favorite jobs to do when I was younger. I worked at a Little Caesars, so I would do the dough. We would get there super early.
Pizza.
And make we would make the dough super early, and then we'd be out. I'd get my 8 hours in, but we'd be there super early, get dough knocked out, work the first maybe 2-3 hours of the morning shift, and just be gone, because then the afternoon shift would come in and they would take over for the rest of the day at that point.
All the people that were there that had to deal with people.
Yes. I just had to deal with making shit.
Yeah, I dated a girl when I was at Fort Campbell who worked at Little Caesars, but she worked late. So I think she would prep the dough like an hour before they closed. She started making dough for the next day and get it all in the refrigerator, freezer case, or whatever they call it. I don't guess there's much prep. Everything comes in bags and stuff now. You just kind of open a bag of onions, open a bag of sausage and pepperoni. And
surprisingly, this will blow your mind. I don't know if it's changed or not, but I did the price comparison per pizza.
Yeah.
It was like 15 cents. They were charging $5 per pizza. That's how much it cost them to make the pizza. 15 cents, and they're charging. Think about that markup at that point. It was insane at that point. I was a manager at a Pizza Inn in Clarksville. After I got out, down here. Dude, that's I love that pizza. I'm just, so I applied for a manager's job. So I was a store manager. I managed 3 stores, and it was great, man. It was great. We had a good crew, good pizza, good customers, man. Because it was all a bunch of around Fort Campbell. It's all GIs and families and stuff. So it was cool. So I'd sit and I'd drink beer and I'd balance the books and go home, or I'd go to the 101 Club on Fort Campbell and
head home and go to sleep, man. It was that was a good job. That was when I was between jobs. I had just gotten laid off from DynCorp. So I ETS'd. I went to work for DynCorp. Ended up getting laid off. I'm like, well, crap. I need to have a job. So I just took a management job because I was going to go work for Lear Siegler afterwards. And that never panned out. So long story short, I ended up re-enlisting. So I went back in. I was a retread. So I had 8 uniforms. I mean, really, I was out for maybe a year and a couple of months. I got a whole brand new initial issue. Kept my rank. It's like I never, I didn't accumulate all that time and grade and stuff, but I kept my rank. I didn't have to go back in time. So it was pretty cool. PT sucked. It took a little bit for me to get used to doing PT, but then they asked me, where do you want to go? And I was already there at Fort Campbell. I was just like, meh, send me back to Hood. I actually requested Fort Hood.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, it was great. I love Fort Hood. I think it was before it turned to not good. Not the great place. So speaking
about going back in, oh no, don't do that. Don't do it.
I'm not going to discourage anyone from going back in. If that's what you want to do it, man. Just make sure all your shit's straight and do it. If you want to go to college, go to college. If you want to work.
Hood wasn't bad. It's just all right. Hood or brag. Put it in that terms. That back at Bragg, back at Hood. I've
visited Fort Bragg. I've never been stationed there. I put in. I mean, it's not for lack of trying. I went through. When I went to Campbell, they were they pushed air assault schools, so I went through air assault school. I'm like, okay, this is pretty badass. Then I put in for airborne school, and they're like, your MOS doesn't require airborne. Is one of the needs of the Army. The Army doesn't need any more airborne avionics technicians. So, all right, fuck it.
I mean, it does kind of make sense. How many aviation technicians are you dropping in the enemy lines to fix the enemy's helicopters?
See, what I'm thinking is we could be even more badass if they would make a unit of a bunch of avionics technicians. Some people like me, I do radar and countermeasure systems. Other people that do like commo stuff and then navigation. We had radar squad, we had navigation squad, we had commo squad. And just imagine dropping some badass motherfuckers that can fix a helicopter. Like, helicopter goes down because of some kind of a mechanical issue. Deploy avionics platoon. Get a couple of each of them, and drop them in there, and they can shoot fuckers and fix radios. that was like a fantasy, just like, oh yeah, they could do that. That'd be awesome. So now the military, there's this thing. Remember back when Daddy Trump was in office, he floated the idea, not the idea. It's not like it was an idea. It was because of research. It was determined that TikTok was a danger, and it kind of got poo-pooed, man. It really got it wasn't paid very close attention to. But now it's back in the news again. With TikTok being unsafe. Troops and family members could be jeopardizing national security with their use of the TikTok video sharing app. While the military services have banned the use of TikTok from government devices, troops and family members do use the app on personal devices. The TikTok is owned by the Beijing, China, based company called ByteDance, ByteDance, ByteDance. The concern is the amount of non-public, sensitive data Americans, troops, and their family members upload that could be flowing into the hands of the Chinese government. TikTok has grown in popularity in the military community. For example, troops often upload videos in the barracks. Videos of military equipment or maneuvers, field problems, deployments. With TikTok, this is a device right in your pocket. It's going inside military installations that have restricted access. and reporting the location data, which can give adversaries information on troop movements and locations. There's a range of ways that this sensitive data is going back to Beijing with their sophisticated AI and can ultimately be used to harm U.S. national security. TikTok has engaged in a pattern of misrepresentation regarding both the amount and the extent of data it's collected, as well as how much has been accessed from inside China. At its core, TikTok functions as a sophisticated surveillance tool that harvests extensive amounts of sensitive data from search and browsing history, keystroke patterns, location data, and biometrics, including face prints, voice prints, etc. All of the concerns with TikTok are heightened in the military context. Representative Glenn Grothman, a Republican from Wisconsin, proposed that the military should be proactively urging troops not to use the app. So here's my thought on the thing. There have been and still are calls for Google and Apple to remove the app from their app store. You know as well as I do that they'll never stop peddling this app unless they're made to. I mean, it costs the user $0. Apple and Google likely make a pretty penny off of your information that you give freely by just agreeing to the terms and service agreement. So I don't think it's just TikTok. I mean, what about other apps?
Facebook,
Google, Twitter,
Apple, Twitter. Hell, even Grubhub. I mean, are people Grubhubbing deliveries on military installations?
Yeah.
So okay, that's data that's collected. If it's up, if it can get on the internet, it's data that can be accessed by anyone. I hate to say it. This fear of TikTok always starts right around elections for some reason.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the Chinese are gonna get the information. Now, I have yelled at people on the app because I am an avid clock app user. I'll call it the clock app because I just saw it. But people will go, oh look, and they'll be there with their phone recording, Abrams moving down the railhead, like, oh look, we're going to war, da, 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 da. That's geolocated, everything. And I would say, don't post that. That's OPSEC, loose lips sink ship kind of shit. And they're like, oh, what are they gonna do? Well, they're just going to maintenance. Da, da, da. I was like, yeah, now the Chinese know, or Russia knows, or whoever knows that we've got 10,000 tanks going into maintenance.
Or we got a couple hundred tanks going to NTC.
Yes,
all the time, all month after month after month. There's always just like, I don't like to be like that, but like conspiracy theory. We're about to go to war. Look at no, they're going to White Sands. They're going to a field exercise. Get training. Over it. But you posting this is giving them troop movement. But yeah, the thing is, you don't see any. I don't see any of other countries. Like you're in the UK or you're in France or you're in Germany of, TikToks of those guys doing, exercises or field problems and just stupid stuff.
I mean, they're probably a little bit more, uptight about that crap. I mean, even when I was I remember, like, if you take a picture, the freaking S2 had to look at it before you could be like, okay. It was just, you couldn't just willy-nilly take pictures. Well, then again, we didn't have like MySpace and shit like that back then, or Facebook and all that crap. But
it's funny, we had a group of people from the United Nations at work. This was several weeks ago. There are signs all over my hangar. Photography prohibited. Video photography is prohibited, and these folks are just taking pictures and selfies, around aircraft that don't exist yet. Just no one is saying one thing or another to them. Signs all over the place.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was in a skiff one time. I'm not gonna say where, but it wasn't me, because I knew better than, don't bring your cell phone in the skiff. You lock it in your damn locker and, lock your locker up, whatever it is. But this area was so secure that it could detect the wireless signal and it would set an alarm off.
Good.
Yeah, that's areas like that where it says, hey, no photography. I mean, maybe they should adopt some crap like that, or even cell phone or Wi-Fi scrambling or whatever the heck it is at that point. Huh?
I think they ought to do that anyway, because I'm a big fan of when you go to work, you're there to do your job that you're hired for. So I'm all in favor if they want to put blockers in the bathroom so you can't sit there and play
exactly
Words with Friends for 20 minutes while you poo.
Exactly. You shouldn't be bringing your phone. Even my mom deals with that working at the jailhouse. They're not supposed to bring their phones past a certain point in the jailhouse. And every now and then one of the officers get caught in the bathroom. We get, just leave. It's not that hard. Leave your cell phone. You don't need to be connected. You don't need to tell your wife what you're doing every 5 seconds. You don't need to do that. Just do your job for the day and get done with it. Huh?
We have, when we're in flight test, we have, it's called a telemetry lab where everyone pays attention to, you have teams of people that pay attention to the engine and all the data that's being broadcast from the aircraft to the telemetry lab. All this data is coming into my lab. So you have people that are paying attention to the avionics and how it's behaving, the transmission and how it's behaving, the vibrations of the airframe and how it's behaving. And these are all separate teams, and they need to concentrate on their job while we're doing flight test. I mean, people's lives are at stake. If there's an anomaly or something that's out of the norm, people need to know. You don't need to be distracted by, even if it's on mute. I mean, a phone vibrating in your pocket, you're going to be, you're going to lean towards, I need to answer that, or I need to see who texted me. So we have a little, and who said it? Cubbies, phone cubbies. Will Kennedy said, phone cubbies. We have just a black box, and everyone that comes into the lab puts their phone in the black box.
Should be more like a Faraday cage at that point, huh? I've seen like little Faraday bags that you could literally drop your phone in and they zip up and nothing can get in and out of it while it's sitting inside it loses all signal at that point, huh?
Yeah, those phones get collected and then it goes, they take that out of the lab.
Oh, and I've worked in the skiffs a lot, and like if you walk by and your phone goes off or whatever, the MPs are taking G6 is getting hold of it. They're digging through every bit of your phone. They're gonna wipe your phone, so all your personal data is honest. All your dick pics that you've been snapping to your girlfriend, or now they know about it.
Damn it!
You don't. This is the best thing to do. Is if you just leave. If you work somewhere where a cell phone isn't necessary, leave it in your vehicle or leave it in a locker that they provide for you.
Good practice. Yeah, I get a lot of stuff. It's from Google. I've got my location, I guess, turned on just because my car needs it, for the nav system and whatever, and for traffic. So I just leave it on. But then I get all these little things from Google. So it's like, hey, do you know this place? I'm like, fuck yeah, I know this place. They're like, tell us about this place. No, stop it.
You know what? If it's asking you that for free, and you want to make some, money, download the Google Rewards app, and they'll pay you to give that information. If you're into that. I mean, I wouldn't suggest it if you're like working a job or anything like that. Just like minding your own business, driving around, reviewing restaurants. You can make some money doing it.
I'll do that. I mean, because I'll do that if I, it's like, here, you've been here, review this place. Okay. And I do. I've got 300 or 360 reviews on Google. They're not.
They're getting you for free.
They're getting me for free.
They get you for free. You need to download their rewards app.
Google. Okay, here we go. Google rewards. I'm making bank now. I'm gonna get 4 more fucking 4K monitors. I gotta write this down because I'm gonna forget it. Rewards. Because we're all worth it, man. Too many of us. Every one of us. And that's painting with a broad brush, but every one of us signs away our privacy, for apps and when you buy a new computer, guess what? You need to be on the Microsoft network and all this other stuff. You have to have like I just bought a Tovala air fryer. I signed up for their thing. It's like a $250 oven, but Tovala has it's a cool ass air fryer. It's got like a barcode scanner or a QR scanner. So you can scan a QR and it knows exactly the cooking instructions for whatever that is, whether it's pizza rolls or whatever. If you go to Trader Joe's, like almost all of the food at Trader Joe's that requires cooking is on the Tovala thing. But the thing is, you have to connect your Tovala to your Wi-Fi because it pairs with your Wi-Fi. So when the barcode scanner goes off, it goes to Tovala. It goes, okay, this is the cooking instructions for that. So it requires, unless it doesn't prevent you from using it. You can say, oh, I think it takes about 10 minutes to cook this at 375 degrees. You can tell it to cook for 10 minutes at 375.
And these days are wild. I wish I would have stayed in cybersecurity now because I can just imagine hacking someone's air fryer while they're at work, setting this shit to like 9 million degrees and just letting it run for 6 hours.
I don't think it can do that. I don't think it can do that because it goes to sleep. It goes to sleep after it's done and it cools down. It goes to sleep. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm not saying that it can't be done.
If it's connected to the internet,
it's only connected. But and I did look this up. It is only connected to the internet when you hit the scan button. You hit the scan button, and then this little beam comes down, and you put the QR code in there. But if you hit the scan button and it doesn't do anything, the Wi-Fi turns off. So you activate its Wi-Fi. It scans the code, and it goes to the internet. So I don't know. It's pretty cool because I signed up. We're not talking about cybersecurity anymore. What I really like about this, and I'm not even advertising for these guys. You go and you choose your meals, right? You can get steak, you can get I do a lot of chicken. I like chicken. So I get all these chicken meals, and it gives you the chicken breast. It gives you all the ingredients to put, for like the marinade or whatever the rub is, and then you scan that, gives you like asparagus or whatever your vegetable is or potatoes, and you just put this shit in the fucking oven. You scan the barcode, and then you go about your business, and it takes like 2 minutes to prepare your meal, 20 minutes or so to cook, and then it's done. And everything you just throw it in the damn trash when you're over with it. It's better than you're gonna save money. Going to the store, buying chicken breast, and following these recipes or whatever. But it's all there. It's already there. It's already pre-divided.
Kind of like that pizza thing from Back to the Future 2, where it's like this little disc, and you stick it in there and say, "Hey, I want a supreme pizza," and it's like,
oh, yeah, not as quick, but yeah, it's the same thing. This will do. It does Totino's pizza. You can go. Put the Totino's pizza in there, scan the little UPC code, and you get a perfect pizza in just a couple of minutes. I can do chocolate chip cookies in like 8 minutes. So good.
I mean, that's cool. It's cool as heck.
I like it.
Just internet connectivity to everything freaks me out.
Right. I'll never get an internet connected thermostat
or a fridge.
Or especially now they have fridges it takes some work from you to input all of your food in there, but it's like, when you're low on something, it'll automatically, go to like Amazon and order your food. No, I'm not going to give up that much. Do you remember,
I don't know if Amazon stopped that or not, but Amazon had these like little Wi-Fi buttons that you could put up on your fridge. They were like magnetic, or you could put them next to your like like washer and dryer, like laundry machines and stuff like that. So when you're about to run out of something, you're like, oh crap, I need this. You push the button, it automatically orders. It's there the next 2 days. I don't know if they still do that or not. It was back in like 2000.
I have a friend of mine that has who asked, and this was today. It's an Amazon feature where they have the codes to get into your garage. So if you have a delivery, they will open your garage, put your stuff in the garage.
Or you can give them a key or something like that.
Yeah, it's called Amazon Key. I think it's called Amazon Key or Ring Key or something like that.
But so they could open, like, it's big in the city because they could, instead of like, trying to get it in your box or leave it outside, they'll just open your apartment door, set it there, and just lock your apartment door behind it. No?
I saw a cool video that had a delivery person. I couldn't tell whether it was like FedEx or UPS. No, it was Amazon. It was Amazon. They ordered something, and then there was this big piece of paper outside the house or apartment or whatever, and it says, "Delivery person, please read this." And it just says, "Hello, thank you very much for delivering my package." And you tear the page off, and it says, "Today's my dog's birthday." Tear the page off. I work, 3 jobs. I can't be there today. Tear the page off. Inside the box is a shark costume. And the key for my apartment is underneath the mat. Could you please put on the shark costume and go and play with my dog for a couple of minutes? So it's just a video. It's a video of this Amazon delivery guy opening the box, putting on the shark costume, taking the key from underneath the mat, going in there, playing with the dog. And there were cameras set up all over the place to videotape everything. And the guy had a shark costume on, played with the dog for, 15 minutes or whatever, and then he left. He probably got in trouble with that because I think Amazon's really, they're kind of dicks on the time out of your seat. They have like time. What I heard is they have like timers on their, not timers, but sensors on the seat, like the time that you're out of the seat and the time you're back in the seat and driving again. I don't know if that's true.
UPS does that.
No kidding. That sucks.
Like I think UPS, like they'll calculate their routes only to make right turns. So because it saves time. But you only have so much time once you're out of the seat to grab the package and get it delivered to get back in there. That's why you see them hauling ass when they're doing their
doors open.
Yeah.
It's like I had that story a few weeks ago about the guy that tossed a fake grenade in the UPS car. The guy jumped out and the UPS van crashed. All right, let's get off this Amazon stuff. You know who Marion Barber is? You're a sportsy guy? I know the sports. No. Sportsiness. He was, or he still is. I mean, he's retired now, but no, he's not. He isn't. He has ceased to be. Let's get to the story. This is an interesting story because it's local. It's big here, so it's kind of big news here in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. But back on June 1st, former Cowboy running back Marion Barber was found dead inside of his apartment during a welfare check. The death of former Cowboys running back Marion Barber has been ruled accidental. The report from the Collin County Medical Examiner's Office released this last Monday listed Barber's cause of death as heat stroke. It's not immediately clear what Barber had been doing in the moments leading up to his death. Marion Barber's friend and attorney, Billy Clark, stated that Barber was still in tip-top shape and he had been training for some time to become a boxer. Barber was a fourth round draft pick by the Dallas Cowboys in 2005. He spent 6 seasons in North Texas, while his hard-hitting, punishing style of running earned his nickname Marion the Barbarian. After leaving Dallas, Barber spent a year with the Chicago Bears before retiring professional football and returning to North Texas. I think it's strange. I think his death is strange, and I'm not going to even pull out the little vaccination stuff here. The dude, I mean, he's a massive athlete, very, very super athletic. But if you look at that picture on the right of the screen, that's his mugshot. Now, why does he have a mugshot? I think I think it's a little strange considering the temperatures. Okay, I'm going to go through a whole little stream of consciousness here. I think it's a little strange considering the temperatures here in north central Texas before, during, and after Marion Barber's death were in the mid-80s. Yet the medical examiner said that he died of heat stroke. It wasn't even thinking about being hot yet. In 2014, he was arrested and held for mental detention because he was at a church one evening, but he was speaking incoherently and behaving erratically. During one of his incoherent speeches, he removed his jacket and revealed that he was carrying a pistol. He was arrested, but I don't think any charges were filed. In 2018, he was arrested for criminal mischief, for damaging cars. He was like walking down the street punching cars. I think something was wrong with Marion, and that kind of prompted, I guess, the welfare check. Like, how is Marion doing?
What's that movie, Concussion?
I haven't seen it.
You ever see that?
I haven't seen it.
So it's about some of these NFL players getting their, like, you know, domes rocked, like TBI kind of crap. And that sounds like you know, TBI behavior, kind of like just being incoherent sometimes, and you know, concussion kind of crap. And so maybe he'd been, you know, concussed.
I bet he was. He was a beast, dude. He would run. He was like, I mean, God, he ran like Emmett. He was really, really good. Really, really good.
It only takes one or two times getting rocked in the head to just mess you up. That's all I got to say at that.
I don't know. I thought it was strange when they said the cause of death was heat stroke, when it wasn't. It didn't get out of the 80s. It was probably mid 80s.
I mean, you can heat.
But
heat exhaustion.
But he's, I mean, according to his lawyer friend, he was in tip-top shape and he was training to be a boxer.
Yeah, I had a heat stroke and I was in tip-top shape while I was in the military.
You weren't in tip-top shape.
No, I was pretty good shape in my 20s.
Marion Barber is 38. 38 years old. He was days away from his 39th birthday.
So he was about my age. So yeah,
he wasn't an old man.
I mean, I sit out front during certain times of day, and if I don't pay attention, I almost die. So I mean, but I'm not in tip-top shape.
Yeah, I think I almost killed my dad several years ago. We were building. I told you this last week. We're building an A-frame swing set, and my mom comes running out, and you almost killed your father. Whoops. I guess you're used to what you're used to.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
yeah,
dehydration.
My heat stroke was 100% dehydration.
Remember in the Army when they were talking about, when you go through, you know, the signs of, you know, heat stroke, paying attention to the color of your pee. And everyone now is like super, super happy when they have, you know, light colored pee and it's not dark, and to drink more water if it's brown.
You see, here's the thing: is you don't want super clear pee either, because that means you're overhydrating at a point. Huh? There is overhydration, where you just can knock your electrolytes out of your body, and that's even worse than a heat stroke at that point.
I mean, if you're just washing the nutrients out of your system, then yeah. So rest in peace, Marion. I don't believe your death was heat stroke or heat stroke, like the medical examiner said. I think there's more there. I think he probably had some drug issues. He might have had some TBI issues. Oh, and yes, Daniel, you got a really good point. He did play back in the day. It was like right before they had the concussion protocols. Alan Wolfson, your pee shouldn't be that clear.
Pee shouldn't be too. No, if it's like looking like water at that point, you're drinking too much water. Slow down a little bit, no?
Or
put some salt
beer.
in your body.
I have some pretty clear pee when I drink a lot of beer.
Well, that's different. That has to do with a weird protein enzyme of your body breaking the alcohol down. I can get into that later, but.
Please do not tune into WTF Nation Radio for medical advice, because none of us are doctors. We don't have any doctors. We got some JDs, but we don't have any MDs.
Ooh, you know what? I won't be an MD, but I can get me a PhD in a split second.
I can download a PhD too, but
no, there's an actual university that hands them out. It's not accredited, but it's still a university.
Oh, okay. Well, I could be a doctor.
A doctor in was it laissez-faire or some crap like that? I don't know what that. It's crazy. I saw the website and I was like, holy crap, this is funny as heck because I can get a PhD in like laying on a couch or something crap like that.
But they'll put some kind of funny, like laying on the couch or being a lazy ass is got some kind of a big word.
But something along the lines of that. But it's like or like you got a PhD and put back ends and recliners. Like that.
You got a PhD in putting furniture together.
Yeah, something like IKEA, PhD in IKEA.
Oh, so what should we go into break with? How about don't feed the ducks? Don't feed the ducks.
Okay.
I love feeding ducks. I love hanging out with ducks. Swans are little assholes. But I think that might be because of maybe their Canadian lineage. I don't know. I mean, everybody in Canada is just nice as hell, but sometimes, swans can be jerks. But yeah, don't feed the ducks, especially if you're down near in this Houston neighborhood. George and Kathleen Rowe, who live in Cypress, just northwest of Houston, were named as defendants in a lawsuit filed by the Lakeland Community Homeowners Association. This is more HOA crap. After neighbors complained that ducks have been damaging their property, according to documents filed in the Harris County Court. The suit filed on June 9th seeks monetary relief of $250,000. According to the 6-page suit, the association is asking for the court to order the couple to stop feeding any wildlife in the community and seeks a lien against the property for the costs incurred in bringing their unit into compliance with the charter of the subdivision. Defendant Kathleen Rowe repeatedly feeds the ducks in the common area despite being informed that such activity is prohibited, and despite agreeing to cease. She agreed to cease such activity. Neighbors, the suit continues, claim that the ducks pooped on their property and destroyed gardens with their beaks. You know what, sweetheart? Ducks are going to do that anyway. They're going to go there. They're going to look for a place to roost. And guess what? One of these springs, you're going to have a bunch of ducklings in your bushes. That happened to my brother. His house is nowhere near a pond. There's a pond kind of nearby. But he was doing yard work one weekend and found out that there were eggs in his bushes. He didn't feed any of the ducks. They look for a place to roost, and and to lay eggs and whatever. So the Rowes, who have lived in the home for more than a decade, regularly sit out and watch the ducks in the waterway from their rocking chairs on their porch as they sip their coffee. Kathleen Rowe, who is 65 years old, found that feeding the ducks is actually therapeutic in the wake of her child's death. Kathleen Rowe says that she believes that the ducks were actually dumped in the pond, and that when she came upon them, she noticed that there wasn't a mother with them, so she stepped in to help. If the Rowes are found to have violated the association's rules and cannot come up with the fees, the association seeks to foreclose on their house.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah. Records show that the couple's home was listed. They said, "Fuck this, we're out." It was listed. Their house was listed for $455,000, but it has since been reduced by $15,000. They just want out.
Funny part about it is that if that lien goes out against the house, whoever picks the house up next has to pay it.
Yes, and that will be in the seller's disclosure.
See, it seems to me like whoever the HOA head is or whoever the body is someone's got a realtor. So that's what they're doing. They're working for a realtor or whatever it is, and they're trying to get the people out of the house because they want to sell the house. And they just don't like the people.
There's probably, you're right. There's probably more to this story. It's not just the ducks. I think this is the thing that the ducks they're like, hey, we can get them out.
If there's a pond in the HOA,
you're going to have ducks.
You're not going to get rid of the ducks. Ducks come to water. Geese come to water.
Yep.
You can't get rid of that.
And everyone's going to have like crawdad holes in their fucking yard.
Yes. You can't stop that. See, I would be the asshole that when they do that, I would just get me a whole bunch of goldfish from Walmart and just dump it in the pond.
Because they'll live and they'll get huge.
Yeah, I don't care. You can go anywhere near that pond at that point. A giant carp's gonna try and eat you. That's the kind of person I am. You can't. What? I can't put a bird feeder up and or a hummingbird feeder and watch my hummingbirds come. What's the difference?
Right.
This is why you don't move into HOAs, or you become a member of your HOA to prevent crap like this from happening.
That's exactly what I did. I moved into an HOA, but then I ran for office and got it.
Yes, you have your little old ladies that I like to call HOA Nazis that have nothing to do but to walk their dog and let it shit in your yard and tell you what's wrong with your crap. All right. That's off the chest.
Okay, good. So now take a deep breath. Woosah the fuck out of this. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. When we come back, I got some music news, some really good music news. And let me see what else we got. It's a brief story on Depp and Heard. Got some Russia news. Got some Black Rifle Coffee Company news. And then we're going to talk about Hunter Biden. Yay. So y'all hang out. We're going to be back in just a little bit. We are going to take a break, and this break, how long is this break? It's not going to be very long. Let's see, 3 minutes, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes and some change. So come back in 7 minutes and some change, and we'll be back with a really good conclusion to the show for the second hour. Enjoy the music, man. Let me see, we got some Assuming We Survive and some another round. So see you in a few.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
I'll fight with all my
WTF Nation Radio.
John Hancock. It's Herbie Hancock. Yeah.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
All right, everybody, we are back for part 2 of Friday Night Freedom. How's everyone doing? My name is KOZ, and up there is Pooky. What's going on, brother? So we kind of have been slow on the stories because we've had such good discussions. We were talking about HOAs and things like that, but I got some music news coming up, and this is some interesting news. This is really interesting because if you're an aspiring artist, it's good to once you hit the big time, it's good to keep your friends close. I don't want to say keep your enemies closer, but watch out for people that are just there to make money off your ass. There is a story that has been circulating about the Eagles, and this is really interesting because we talked about Joe Walsh last week. Joe Walsh was in the Eagles, and I said the only reason they kept him around is because the dude can play guitar and he writes some interesting lyrics. So he can't really sing that well, but and we kind of were when I was playing some of the music, kind of teetering on the line of a copyright strike, and we didn't get one, so that's good. The Eagles are really, really bad with filing copyright strikes. But check this out, the lyrics. Check this. Oh, this is awesome. This is good. The lyrics and notes from the band's hit 1976 LP had belonged to musician Don Henley and are valued at well more than $1 million. Prosecutors said some men had lied to auction houses and potential buyers and police about the material's origins. Glenn Horowitz, Craig Inciardi, and Edward Kaczynski deny the charges, according to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. According to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Mr. Inciardi is his name, is an employee with curator responsibilities at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. The New York District Attorney's Office said that the trio had engaged in a years-long campaign to prevent Don Henley from recovering his manuscripts. The handwritten lyrics to tracks like Hotel California, Life in the Fast Lane, and New Kid in Town were originally stolen in the late 1970s by someone hired to write a biography of the group. So the group was big. Someone wanted to write a biography. They borrowed material to write the biography. In 2005, the biographer sold these items. So, dude, 35 years passed. So the person who had this material sold all this stuff to a book dealer, Mr. Horowitz, who is 66 years old, from Manhattan, who then allegedly sold them to Mr. Inciardi from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, age 58, who is from Brooklyn, and then Mr. Kaczynski, age 59, who is from New Jersey. Upon hearing that the latter pair were trying to sell portions of his manuscripts, Don Henley filed police reports demanding the return of his property. The men refused. District Attorney Bragg said that the defendants attempted to keep and sell these unique and very valuable manuscripts despite knowing that they had no right to do so. They made up stories about the origin of the documents and their right to possess them so they could turn a profit. All three defendants have pled not guilty in New York to conspiracy and criminal possession charges, and Mr. Horowitz to hindering prosecution. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has since suspended Mr. Inciardi from conducting, and they're conducting an internal investigation. So this is really crazy because someone showed up, they wanted to write a biography. So they have a bunch of documents, handwritten like notes and lyrics and stuff to songs that are huge. Hotel California. I don't know anybody who hasn't heard that song. And then down the line, try to sell this off and make a profit. It wasn't his property. So that's just interesting. Don Henley. Don Henley is extremely. I think everybody else in the band just kind of doesn't give a fuck. But Don Henley is an extremely active person. He lives here in Dallas. He's very active in his own personal well-being and with nature and stuff. He's a very busybody. He's a good guy. Pretty high maintenance, but he's a good guy. He's just looking out for his stuff. They spent years writing these songs, and they've just he spent years creating his craft and developing his craft and songwriting and stuff. And he's not a one-trick pony. He's been around for seems like 100 years writing songs, and he's just looking out for himself. Everyone else in the band agrees. But here's another one, which kind of is in my wheelhouse. This is where I grew up. This is what I do. I like heavy metal. I really do like heavy metal. I think.
Are you going to get into what I think you're going to get into? Because I was about to mention this exact. You said music news, and I had to pull it up because I read this. They're like, go for it. You go for it.
Okay. Let's see if we're on the same line. So this story has been around. It's been making the rounds in the media. One of my favorite metal bands when I was active in the Army was Pantera. I've been to countless Pantera shows, both small, like in bars, in huge stadiums. I've poured two out for the boys, Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul, at grave sites here in Arlington at the Moore Memorial Gardens in Arlington, Texas. It is rumored that the surviving members, lead singer Philip Anselmo and bassist Rex Brown, will embark on a reunion tour of Pantera in 2023. Anselmo and Brown have signed with Artist Group International to book their North American dates. A year ago, Anselmo said that he was up for reuniting with Brown for a special tour celebrating the music of Pantera. The 54-year-old singer, who has spent the last few years playing a Pantera-centric set with his solo band called the Illegals, discussed the possibility of re-teaming up with his former Pantera bandmate during several interviews. Rex and Phil have been batting around the idea for years, but nothing has really materialized. In February 2020, Dimebag Darrell's longtime girlfriend, Rita Haney, said that she would, quote, definitely be in favor and Anselmo and Brown reuniting with Zakk Wylde teaming up for Pantera tribute tour. A few days later, Brown weighed in on her comments, writing on Twitter, he goes, I want to make sure that people understand what I'm about to tweet. It's not up to Rita to say what will happen, only what Philip and I say. I don't know if I believe it.
No. Wasn't it Phil was doing what's that band Down? I don't know if you heard Down.
Yeah. He was in Down for a while.
Yeah, this is definitely not what I was thinking you were going to talk about, because I was thinking something completely. It was metal related, but it was completely different.
we can go there in a minute. So I've seen, and here's my thoughts on these articles. I've seen several interviews with Phil Anselmo and a couple with Rex. And there's always a lot of talk, but I don't see any action from anyone. Sure, all parties want to do it, but an undertaking of this magnitude takes time, money, commitment, and a healthy dose of sobriety. Don't get me wrong. I mean absolutely no disrespect. This would definitely be great. The problem is, all I hear is talk about it and no action. Sure, all of these guys want to do it, but who's going to herd all of these cats into a studio and practice for 12 hours a day for months and months and months to get it right and then go on the road? I don't think that they can do it on their own. I think it would be great. I wouldn't call it a Pantera reunion. I think I would call it maybe a tribute, and have several artists, not just Zakk Wylde. have some, have some drummers in there, have some guitar players, and just do a tribute to Pantera. Don't call yourself. Don't call it a reunion, because it's not a reunion. There's never going to be a reunion. So a
tribute tour would be awesome.
A tribute tour would be awesome.
Crazy guitarists. Think of whoever, and get them to go.
There's some fantastic YouTube guitarists that aren't even known, that just that can just come out there and play a song, and then get off the fucking stage. Bring on someone else who can play another song and do it. But this is a picture here of Philip Anselmo on the left and then Rex Brown on the right. These guys are not spring chickens. These guys are set in their ways. I'm not sure I've seen the videos, dude. I have seen the videos. These guys partied hard ever since that they were teenagers.
Yes.
I don't know what their level of sobriety is right now. But, and I meant that, herding cats. Someone is going to have to, if this is the goal that they want to set, they need to invest the money to have a manager to break balls. They need a drill sergeant in there to get these fuckers in the studio to practice. Practice. Yes, I know you've sung this song a million times. Guess what? You haven't sung this in fucking years. Practice. And when you get it right, do it again, then go on tour, because nobody will be more disappointed than a Pantera fan who goes to see Rex Brown playing the bass and Philip Anselmo screaming into that fucking microphone and have it be shitty. It's going to be the worst experience of their life. So if they do go back on the road to have a tribute to Pantera, they need to do it right. And that means practice. I don't care how many times you've done it. You need to train. You need to do it. You got to practice and get it right. Get back into that groove.
Call Bruce Dickerson and have him come in and get them back.
No shit.
Those guys are old as heck. Those guys, they're still touring. So
they're older than me. They're older than me. Not by much.
Bring them in and say, hey, you guys want to do this? All right, Iron Maiden will help Pantera do their tribute. A Pantera tribute. That would be awesome to see.
Or have it be a double show. Pantera has not been in the mix for a very, very long time. Iron Maiden is in the mix. So Pantera opens up or a Pantera tribute opens up for Iron Maiden. I would be down with that.
Yes, that'd be an awesome show.
So that's all my Russia news. And now we're going to talk about Colonel Frontbutt. What was your music news? Oh
no, it's about Metallica actually. I don't know if you've seen. You don't TikTok much or anything like that.
I don't TikTok it at all unless someone sends me a link. Like, here, check this out.
A link. Yeah. Okay. So like Metallica's Master of Puppets enters the Billboard Hot 100 for the first time. Because
of fucking Stranger Things, right?
Because of Stranger Things. Yes. So I mean, that's crazy to think about it like that. What, 86 is when
1986. And I've read the breakdown. There's like some Metallica nerds that say, what was it? Master of Puppets came out around the summertime of 1986. So, dude who played that music had like 3 weeks to learn that music without tabs and shit.
Yes,
because they didn't have tabs back then.
But there's another one, the Kate Bush song that everyone's listening to. That hit the billboards too because of this crap. So it's like a weird phenomenon that's happening, is where these old songs that, I knew, but all these younger kids don't know, or like becoming popular out of nowhere because Stranger Things. So
that's why I started listening to Stranger Things, because if you watch like season 1, episode 1. It's good music, and that's what kind of drew me into the story. My kids are like, "Hey, Dad, check out Stranger Things." Okay, great, but I heard the music and I'm like, "Okay, I'm down with this. I can handle this. This is great," because this is like when I was a kid. I was a little bit older than them. It
was kind of like a weird flashback from back in the day. It's like that's I think why a lot of older people like it, and younger kids are just like, well, it's whatever, but I mean, it's for a 90s kid, it's kind of like a flashback because you just remember some of this weird shit just vaguely, But what I was going to say is about the TikTok was Metallica did a duet from the kid Eddie Mudson playing in. They did a duet with them actually playing along next to him.
Oh no, really?
TikTok. Yes, and
that's awesome.
Because I know you watch Stranger Things, so like just before he plays this is for you, Chrissy, and they're like, this is for you, Eddie. You know, and they're like, and I was like, that's cool. And so I saw it today, and I was like, holy shit, that's cool. But then I looked it up, and the Billboard thing that kind of blew my mind. You know, like this, 35 years later, they're finally hitting the billboards with their song. You know, like Master of Puppets is a great song. You know, it's
Metallica has been awesome. I mean, they've been awesome. They, just like Pantera, a staple in my growing up. I had a period of growing up which was elementary school through high school, and then I had another period of growing up which was my years in the Army. And that was nothing more than spectacular as far as going and seeing shows and concerts and stuff, man. I spent so much money on traveling places within Texas, seeing Pantera in concert with other bands in Dallas, in Austin, just all over the place, San Antonio. Music feels good. Music to me is just awesome, because after we get off the air here, I usually get on YouTube and I just look up old bands and I just kind of relive old moments, and I love the internet.
That's exactly what I do after every show. Is I put on my Spotify, I put my earbuds in, I sit outside, smoke a couple cigarettes, I just jam out to like some Dio or whatever I'm feeling like at the time, like some Black Sabbath or some crap like that. But that's my kind of music.
And we did a show two shows ago, maybe three, about Dimebag Darrell's house here in Arlington that was bought for, it was built for like $250,000, sold for like $855,000, and the guy that bought the property tore it down, bulldozed.
Did he live next door? Just wanted a lot to expand.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what the story is, but he bought the house and tore it down. I mean, the way that real estate's going right now, I mean, I think the land may be worth more than the house that sits on it. Who knows? So let's. I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it. So let's talk about Johnny Depp. This is another one of those.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Just another kick in the gut for Amber Heard. A judge on Wednesday rejected the request from actor Amber Heard to set aside the $10 million defamation judgment awarded against her in favor of Johnny Depp. Depp won the lawsuit against Heard last month in a high-profile civil trial. We don't have the client list for Ghislaine Maxwell yet. Everyone knows everything there is to know about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, but no one's been arrested or prosecuted for, children that were exploited and raped.
Yes. You get in trouble for trafficking. Well, who was the clients?
Who were the clients? Anyway, earlier this month, Heard filed a motion seeking to have Depp's verdict set aside or to have a mistrial declared. Her lawyers cited multiple factors, including an apparent case of mistaken identity with one of the jurors. This is where it gets interesting. Heard's lawyers challenged the verdict on the basis that one of the 7 jurors that decided the case was never summoned to jury duty. He just showed up. But there's more. According to court papers, a 77-year-old county resident received a jury summons, but the man's son, who has the same name and lives at the same address, responded, and he served instead of his father. The judge decided that the juror was vetted. He sat for the entire jury. He deliberated, and he reached a verdict. The only evidence before this court is that the juror and all jurors followed their oaths, the court's instructions and orders. The court is bound by the competent decision of the jury. Ha ha! Ha ha ha!
That's a tricky one though. You think about it. Like they sent a summons out to a different person, but because their names are the same and they live at the same address, he automatically assumed that the younger kid automatically assumed that, hey, this is my job to do it. Huh? That's crazy at that point, huh?
Or his dad's like, fuck that, I'm drinking beer. You want to take this?
One of the two.
Oh, Elizabeth, really? I don't know how old you are. But I think you would probably like it. It's a good story. It gets kind of flaky after season 2, but I think it's good. Stick with it. It's good.
If you start watching it, stick with it.
Yeah. Well,
It's
she's a
got
young
all
lady.
kinds.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah, you could probably get into it. You probably maybe get into it.
I think you can. Do it. Just do it. Grab your husband, sit down and say, hey, I'll make the popcorn. We're watching Stranger Things. Like all 5 seasons this weekend.
Get you some of that new Coke and
To roll everything back. Yeah, the new Coke. No, Elizabeth, no, man. You're just beginning. You're just beginning. I'm not 31, but I'm having the time of my life. So let's talk about Colonel Frontbutt. And you're like, who's Colonel Frontbutt? This is more of a Russian military story. It's not about him. I just chose his picture. None of this story has anything to do with this guy, but I just think it's funny because they recalled this guy to active duty. Anyway, Russians are being offered 3 times the national average salary to participate in the war against Ukraine. According to local media reports, officials in regions including Moscow and the Russian Republic of Tatarstan are forming military units to recruit mercenaries nationwide to participate in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In Moscow, men who join the Sobinin Regiment, which began recruiting on July 1st, are promised a monthly salary of 200,000 rubles, which is about $3,400. So $3,400 a month.
Is that like the standard pay of a specialist in the U.S. Army?
I don't know. That's when I don't know, man. When I was a private and I got my first paycheck, I was kind of pissed off because I realized that I had to pay for the uniforms that I was wearing. And then the extra $100 a month or whatever for a year for GI Bill. So, in contrast, the average salary in Russia is 62,269 rubles a month, according to the data taken from Take Profit, making the figure more than 3 times the national average. Elsewhere in Russia's Tatarstan Republic, officials are recruiting for 2 battalions composed solely of volunteers. They're just like, we need work for free. We might feed you. No, Elizabeth, he hasn't missed too many meals. And what I think is, rather than give him a paycheck, I think that he's going to get all the rations. So if you join the military in Russia, you're not going to eat you're going to get money, but you're not going to eat very well because this guy's going to take a portion of that. So have you ever had Black Rifle coffee?
Yes, I have.
I think it's good. I mean, it's good coffee. I think it's good. I like coffee. I drink coffee black, so I do enjoy the flavor of coffee. A lot of folks say, no one really enjoys the flavor of coffee. They just like the caffeine buzz. I like the taste of it. So, as far as Black Rifle Coffee goes, they're a veteran-owned coffee company that just went public earlier this year, has named former Wendy's CEO Roland Smith executive chairman of its board. On Tuesday, the company board of directors appointed Smith to the role effective immediately so he can work more closely with Evan Hafer and Tom Davin, who are co-chief executive officers of the company. Black Rifle Coffee was founded in 2014 by Evan Hafer, who was a former U.S. Army Green Beret, and since its founding, the company has been committed to supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders. According to the website, they say, with every purchase you make, we give back. So it's kind of cool. The move to expand Smith's role comes as the company encounters higher customer demand and grows across new sales channels. Smith served as a CEO of public and private companies, including Office Depot, Arby's, and Wendy's for more than 2 decades. Smith also graduated from the military academy at West Point. He served in the U.S. Army as a Transportation and Aviation Corps as a platoon leader, executive officer, deputy director of Army programs, aviation maintenance officer, and a pilot. So I had to dig up. I'm like, I know we've got pictures of these guys. So we went to the Freedom On Fest in Boulder, Colorado, and from left to right, you're going to see that's Mom. That's Mom over there on the left, holding that beer, and then Red Leg. The next person is Matt Best, Evan Hafer, and then Pie. We were there just for the Freedom On Fest. Black Rifle Coffee Company was there. I forget what year that was. I can't remember. It was probably 15. I'm thinking 15.
I wasn't there. I don't even think I was on the station at that point.
So that's really cool. I knew we had pictures of these folks. And here's another one. This is a table with, let me see from, let's go from left to right. That's Nick Palmascano, who is another executive at Black Rifle. That is Red Leg. No. Who's the next guy? No, the next guy next to Nick is Pie, and then Red Leg, then Jay Reddy. And I really don't remember who that fellow's name is. He's a Black Rifle guy. So cool.
It actually looks like a guy that's time with an army, and I can't remember his name. He looks just like the guy too.
We had such a great time that weekend. I mean, I think U.S. Army WTF Moments put us up in an apartment in downtown Denver. It was so cool. It was just very, very cool. Red Leg put the word out, and he's just like, "Hey, we want you to be there. We're going to do a broadcast. What do I have to do?" He goes, just say you want to be there. And they bought I didn't buy the plane ticket. I just gave them my name. The plane ticket was there. I just got on the airplane and flew, and then came back. It was a couple of days of awesomeness. I got to drive in Spanky's minivan. It was awesome. I guess it's time to talk about Hunter Biden. We're going to talk about I'm really glad Black Rifle has done so well. They've done very, very well. Oh, what's this one? Oh, yeah, here we go. So I couldn't come up with a good graphic for this story, so this is the one that I got. Joe Biden out there saying, "My family's very religious. I'm a devout Catholic, and my son is a Crystal Methodist." An alleged hack into an iCloud account of U.S. President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, over last weekend exposed a cache of inappropriate content, including the former's name saved as Pedo Peter. So in Hunter's phone, he's got his dad's cell phone saved as Pedo Peter. The hackers claim that the content reveals texts, pictures, and videos, including images of drug and sexual activities. It was also claimed that Hunter Biden recorded his father's phone by the name of Pedo Peter, which is what I just said. The first son allegedly spent $30,000 in 5 months on prostitutes and transported them across state lines. I'm not sure if there's anything illegal about...
Sounds like human trafficking to me.
Well, for what? I mean, he got a prostitute, it's illegal in most states, except for maybe one, but then drove them across state lines. He also allegedly disguised checks to them as payments for medical services. There are videos in this dump of Hunter arguing with a prostitute about how much crack he had. Have you seen that video?
Oh, yes.
He's sitting there just like arguing. He's like weighing. He's got crack on a scale, and he has like 21 grams of crack.
It's like 27 grams.
He was not in a good place there. Red Leg is doing fine. Thank you for asking, Elizabeth. There is also, allegedly, a conversation seemingly between father and son about some business dealings that President Biden said that he never talked about such things. And this is in like Ukraine type stuff. He said he never talked about his son's business dealings, both in Ukraine and in China. So here's another take on that. Oh, that's not it. I didn't load it up. So this is what we get. So at the time, we are not in a position to make public comments, and this is a statement from the Secret Service. At this time, we are not in a position to make public comments on potential investigative actions, but we can assure you that the Secret Service, along with other federal law enforcement partners, are aware of the social media posts and claims referencing Mr. Biden. The leak went viral on 4chan. I've never been to 4chan. I've never consumed anything from 4chan.
Stay away.
They're not on the regular web. They're on the dark web, right?
No, you can access it regular web, but I'm just going to tell anyone on the internet right now, stay away from 4chan. Simple as that. Unless you know what you're doing, stay away from 4chan.
So the leak went viral on 4chan, where a user claimed to have hacked into Hunter Biden's iCloud backup and then used a tool that allows users to recover files from the Apple iCloud or the iCloud backup. So basically, they had a way in, and then they downloaded and decrypted everything just with a simple password. They found a way to get into his cloud where he backs up his laptop.
It's not the first time that's happened. What's her face? Jennifer Lawrence had her iCloud hacked.
It seems like it wouldn't be that difficult. It seems like it wouldn't be that hard.
It's like having a Dropbox. It's like having Dropbox, and someone hacks your Dropbox. And if you have your stuff linked to Dropbox, where it automatically just downloads, like some people do. I mean, I have mine set to random screenshots. It just goes to it because, well, you're not finding anything important on my crap. But you know, I mean, it's so easy. All you gotta do is get the password. Once you get the password, you have full blown access. And the thing about that too, I don't know how iCloud works, but like those cloud services like Dropbox or what's that one? Microsoft. I gotta look it up now. Microsoft is always asking me on my computer to sign up for it. That Microsoft Cloud thing, cloud service or something like that. But pretty much you can link it. So once you get access to it, you could just pretty much like, it's like kind of like the old administrative domain server kind of crap where you set access to a file. You can just give root access to anyone who wants it. So you just drop it on the internet and everyone has access to it at that point.
Yeah, whenever I send someone on Dropbox, it's like a link to this thing. A link to a certain thing, not the entire folder. It's just this thing. Not that I have anything nefarious on freaking Dropbox. No. It's like it's music, dude. You
gotta keep yourself protected. Like you always gotta just like, okay, this whole Hunter Biden thing just blows my mind because there's people. It's kind of like you're watching the world burn. What's that meme with the dog sitting on?
Oh my god, just sit there. Everything is fine.
Everything's fine. That's exactly what's happening right now. Is when you try to tell people, it's like, hey, like I don't know if you saw the fiasco on Twitter while this was going down.
No, I've been banned. I can't get there anymore. Sorry.
Okay, well, pictures were popping up, and Twitter was just like, It was like a game of whack-a-mole for a good 2 days. Like someone would post it up, and
all of that stuff was on 4chan, but they seeded it on way different. I mean, all kinds of different platforms. So all that stuff is out there if you want to find it.
I just saw the funniest quote the other day. I gotta fucking think of it now. It's like, you'll go to jail for viewing content on Hunter Biden's laptop. But
Oh,
Hunter
gosh.
Biden's not in jail. But Hunter Biden's not in jail. Now read it again. You know, like it's like holy crap. It's
Yeah.
scary at that
You're
point.
consuming child porn if you look at the stuff that's on his laptop.
But he's not in jail right now. Same with the whole black book. I will mention this black book. Epstein didn't kill himself. The black book needs to be just let it loose. Let the public read it. No, stop keeping it.
Have you seen that video? There was a dog handler who, I mean, he was being interviewed on Fox for his dog handling and training things. And he's like, hey, you know, the interview's over. He's like, hey, do you mind if I do a PSA? And I think it was Waters said, go ahead. And he goes, okay, you know, you see this dog right here. If you're going to get a dog, and this is great, and you can sign up and go through the training program, but make sure you've got a fully trained. And he just went through an entire litany of things. It was a real PSA, and he ended his entire statement with Epstein didn't kill himself. And Waters just kind of went,
Love it. Never been fact checked on that one once.
Nope.
Not once. I'm just gonna say that and put that out there. But no, that whole black book thing pisses me off to no extent. Oh, and the diary, the other one too.
The diary. Oh my gosh, what is that though? What is that girl's name? And there's pictures of her. I'm like her and Hunter in bed and whatever. This is
no. I'm not. I'm talking about Biden's daughter's diary.
Where she talked. Oh yeah.
One where Project Veritas got their hands on it and were like, hey, they called the FBI and says, this is not ours. Here it is. They rated all of Project Veritas over that crap.
Yes, they did. But they came across something that is incriminating, turned it over, and it just fucking disappeared.
Yep.
No one's in jail.
No, well, you got to protect the elite in this country. Mm-hmm.
You know what you can't get away as far as prosecution goes? Drinking and driving. Drinking and driving is really bad. Drinking and driving. You're going to get busted eventually. You might not get busted the first time, the third time, the fifth time, but you're going to get busted.
You're going to get busted eventually.
So scooters, riding a scooter. Folks think you can't get a DUI riding a scooter. Scooters have, in recent years, become one of the most popular ways to maneuver around a major city. I remember when we used to have them all over Dallas. The city of Dallas ordered the scooter companies to stop operating in late 2020 because no one put them back where they belonged. The users would just grab a scooter, run the shit out of it, and then dump it. I mean, not even against a fence, like laying in the road.
It's like shopping cart theory 101.
Oh, it's so much worse.
Ugh.
So much worse. The last time I was in downtown Dallas was near the MEPS station. The scooters were all over the place, and none of them were where they should have been. Anyway, it's always a smart idea to operate these things while sober. The same rules apply if you're overseas. In Germany, it can be hard to avoid the temptation to drink and drive these scooters. Some soldiers stationed at Grafenwehr training area in Bavaria unfortunately sipped and scooted their way to an alcohol ban. Thanks, guys. And I say guys, it was probably guys, males. The U.S. Tank Brigade.
Drunk and rode a bike.
Well, yeah.
It's the same concept.
It's the same thing, but I think scooters would be more fun. Dude, I've jumped off of second story barracks into bushes.
I'm not condoning this or anything, but the best part about playing golf is getting shit-faced by the freaking ninth hole and trying to drive the golf cart around the damn golf course.
Everyone knows that. Why do you think Tiger didn't make the cut at the U.S. Open? He's been drinking and driving the damn golf cart. So a U.S. tank brigade deployed to Bavaria was placed on alcohol restriction after several instances in which soldiers drunkenly rode electric scooters off post. And this comes from Stars and Stripes. This comes from Stars and Stripes, so you know it's real. The revocation of drinking privileges went into effect on July 7th. Overnight travel has been suspended temporarily for soldiers with the 1st Armored Brigade Combat Team 3rd Infantry Division. 5 soldiers have been charged with scooter-related DUIs. Now, I'm wondering, Does that, if you get a DUI on a scooter, does that hold the same weight as you're driving a car with a DUI?
It depends on, I mean, was it the Polizei that caught them, or was it the MPs that caught them?
The Polizei.
So that depends on I guess the country's law at that point. But like, I know some units have like a zero tolerance kind of mentality when it comes to, DUIs.
It doesn't matter what the DUI of what? The driving under the influence of what?
Driving under the influence.
You could be driving, if you get fucked up and you commandeer a tractor in Netherlands, you're going to get a DUI and you're going to get probably drummed out.
So I'm just like cruising drunk as heck on one of them hoverboards, and a Polizei comes up and says, "Hey, you're operating a electric vehicle drunk." It's kind of like the whole concept of I'm cutting my grass, drinking a beer, I'm away, and then a cop shows up and just arrests me. "Hey, you're operating a motor vehicle while under the influence." Like, I'm on my property. What am I? My riding mower can only go 5 miles an hour. What's the kind of damage I'm going to do today? If anyone's going to get hurt, it's going to be me.
You're like, hell yeah, I've been drinking, but this is a zero turn, man. Have you ever driven one of these fuckers? Next thing you know, there's the drunk guy standing there holding the camera. The cop's driving the zero turn motor, those are awesome. If you've never driven a zero turn motor,
zero turns are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
It's like the concept's like, okay, like here's one that will blow your mind, right? Like,
tell me.
You can get in trouble for riding a bicycle. Someone told me in Texas. Depends on what part of Texas, but drunk. Like, you could literally get in trouble for that. But you could ride a horse completely shit face, and it's perfectly fine at that point.
The horse should know better. I mean, they know where to go.
Now, what if you and a horse are drunk? Is that public intoxication, or how does that work?
So I know Holly is here in the chats, and she says, "Hey, come spend your vacation in Nashville because it's allowed." So I looked it up in Dallas. If you are intoxicated and operating a scooter, one of those the battery powered scooters, you could have been prosecuted for DUI. There's no record of anyone being prosecuted for being for a DUI while riding a scooter.
Heath, I'm moving to Mississippi.
A tractor or lawnmower are the only vehicles that you can't get a DUI in Mississippi. Also,
buy me an international harvester, and I'm getting shit.
You're going to spend $500,000 on a lawnmower, and then have a dude. I'm telling you. After about 3 or 4, you're going to make your money back.
Oh, I'm going to do a legitimate drive through.
And then I'm going to fly over whatever area you own and go and see that there's not straight lines.
Oh, it don't matter at that point.
Yeah. So, all of these problems
would be responsible for the war. That would make sense.
So all of these problems that we've been having, all these economic problems, everyone's blaming Joe Biden, right? I mean, COVID happened, in a previous administration with President Trump, but the way this has been handled, I mean, with economic stuff, inflation is just nuts. It's nuts. It's really crazy because I used to pick up, I mean, a gallon of milk. I'm sorry. I buy milk by the half gallon. It used to be 99 cents. Now it's nearing $3. Eggs, if I remember correctly, I think I'm paying about $4 a dozen, maybe just short of $4 a dozen. So there was a tourist, and I'm going to make some shit up and say that he went to Italy to throw his body into Mount Vesuvius, sacrifice himself to the god Pele, and get rid of all of this bad stuff that the entire world has been. I mean, gas prices are they've been higher. We're almost $1 cheaper this week than we were probably 2 weeks ago. So an American tourist fell into Mount Vesuvius, an active volcano in Italy, after trespassing to take a selfie. Did you hear about that story? The 23-year-old man who dropped his phone and tried to retrieve it. This is what the story says. I think he tried to sacrifice himself to just get rid of all the bad juju in the world.
Did you watch that Tom Hanks movie too many times?
Oh, dude, Joe versus the volcano. That is what, and that's what I thought about when I was writing this. I'm like, oh, that is a good movie.
The name of it, but it threw me back to it. It's like, holy crap! Holy.
If you haven't been there, and this is I don't know when it came out. Google this. When did Joe versus the volcano come out? That's Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. That was probably 80s, early 90s, maybe?
1990, actually.
1990. That is a really good movie. It is such a good movie.
Dude, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan did a bunch of movies together, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, according to the story, the 23-year-old man dropped his phone and then tried to retrieve it after taking a selfie. He fell several meters into the ash of the crater before being saved by nearby park officials. He sustained only minor injuries. The man, who has not been named, allegedly walked on an unauthorized path in order to reach the summit of Mount Vesuvius at 1,281 meters. The man went on an unmarked path because tickets for visiting Vesuvius, which are limited to $2,700 a day, were all booked. And he's like, fuck that, I'm gonna go summit this thing. 2 other Americans, 2 Brits, and 1 Austrian were with the American who fell. Some local sources have reported that there were 3 family members with him, but the spokesperson believes that only one of the Americans is related to the man who fell. No legal action will be taken against the man, only a fine. So I think maybe all of this crap would have been done. Employment would go up. Salaries will go up. Or salaries will actually go up to match inflation or whatever. I mean, pay me enough so I can afford the houses that are really overinflated. I don't want to live in my house forever. I like my house.
What we need to do is invent a time machine and go back in time and stop them from shooting Harambe, and all our problems would end at that point. You know?
All of this downturn kind of happened around when Harambe was killed.
That was it.
So I guess Pooky and I are going to sign off here, man. It's Friday night. You guys need to get your Friday night started. We appreciate you being here. And I just want to close out by saying, so as we sign off for the night here at WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments, we encourage you to have an awesome weekend. We also encourage you to avoid sacrificing yourself in an active volcano. Furthermore, we highly encourage you to utilize a designated driver, taxi, or rideshare program of your choice if you decide to go out for drinks with your friends. Pookie, you got any closing comments?
You took most of my closing comments out, so I'll just.
I didn't say anything about kicking a dog, so I guess you can.
Don't kick your dog. Don't beat your spouse. And taxation is theft.
Taxation is theft. Oh, hold on. I got this. That one. There it is.
I have to say it once.
At least once per show.
And I didn't say it, so I had to get it off there at the end. So have a good night, people.
Pookie, thank you very much for hanging out with me. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out here at WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. We're going to be back on Monday for the Monday edition, unless there's a show on Sunday. I don't know when these guys are starting, so we will see you later. You guys have a great weekend, and shots.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation. WTF Nation Radio.
Leroy Jenkins.